Now that is going to be some of the worst soldering you've ever seen on the internet or YouTube. It's real world plumbing. I'm not just putting out the best stuff, the nicest stuff. We've all done a job where we've just had to do what we can do with it. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. I just want to say a massive thanks to everyone. Off the back of the last video, I asked people to hit the like button and sort of help push the video, just because I was trying something slightly different with the way YouTube works and how they push videos and the algorithm. And I wanted to see whether people hitting that like button made a difference, and it did. So if you could do the same for this video and all the other videos coming up, it'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that like button and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because it just helps the algorithms and also helps us to get to the magical 20,000 by the end of the year, which I think we're only about 400 away from, which is amazing. Also, next Thursday, which will be November the 24th, Snug Underfloor Heating have been travelling through the country with their installer roadshow, and it's hitting the Midlands. So it's going to be at the Balfrey, Sutton Coldfield. Now, it's just an afternoon with the Snug team, and with the one at the Balfrey, I'm also going to be there. And we're basically showing you all the different Snug Underfloor heating systems, how to install them, how to commission them, you know, all that sort of insight into it. Any questions, obviously the Snug team will be there. And I'm going to be there giving a sort of a real world overview of their systems, because I've fitted a few of them, and it's all right as us installers listening to the companies telling us about it. But if someone like myself can be there and you can ask me what my opinion of it is when I've fitted it, and I can also say, well, do this, and if you know what I mean. So if that's something of interest, it's a free afternoon, and at the end of it, Snug will give you like a certificate and accreditation to say that you're an approved Snug installer. I'll put the link in the description for that. It's free. Come along. There'll be, you know, refreshments there and all that sort of jazz. And as I say, I'll be there as well. So whether you want to come along and see what it's all about, it'd be great to see you. So that is next Thursday, the 24th of November. What have we got in this episode? Right, we're going back to my mate's. I think in the last video I took his radiator off, and then he dropped on me that he wanted a different size radiator going on. So it turns into a bit of a pain in the arse job, and we have to do what we have to do on it, if that makes sense. Sometimes you go to jobs and it's not all what people put out on YouTube. Sometimes isn't everything that's gone on. I like to show, because this is real world plumbing, I like to show when things go right, obviously, and when things go wrong. And sometimes, like with this job, we have to do it a certain way just to get the job done. So keep watching and drop me a comment below, because I think we've all done it. We've all done something on jobs that we've had to do because that's the way the job's gone. As always, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll let you get on with the video. So, as mentioned in the last video, where we came and took the radiator off from my mate, and I said to you that he was going to switch it to a different size radiator, a more efficient one that's going to work a bit better. So what we've done, we've gone for a 500 by 1400 double convector with a convecting fin to the top. It's just going to circulate the air around this kitchen a lot more, because she's got this little space here. Obviously the kitchen area usually stays warm, but this little space here is quite cold. So we're going to put it here. However, the issue comes with this pipe work. So as you can see, the existing rad was from there to there. It was like a cast iron, like a column, side entry column rad. And we're going to put this 1400 here. So we're going to go upstairs shortly, bung the tanks and drain the system down. What I'm going to do is work from this side here. I'm going to leave that there and work the rad from that. It just means we're going to have to do the work on this side. So this is going to be roughly around here. The pipework's feeding this way, so obviously it's coming in here, onto there, and then going through the wall. There's a rad, the back of this wall. So that gives us the issue of a fixed point here. I can't just cut a T in here and come up, because this won't move, because we're coming through the wall here, and the pipework that's coming down there, there's no giving that. So the only way I'm going to do it is by cutting here. So if we cut off there and then cut wherever the T is going to drop here, for instance, cut there, then that takes out that bit. Then we're going to have to re-elbow down back onto a new bit of pipe here, and then also up into the rad. So let's say the bottom one's the flow, top one's the return, so it's going to be flowing round and then coming back out, flow this side from the rad behind, flow, return this side from the rad behind for argument's sake, and the return off the side of this rad. So it's going to loop round it, just because that's fixed point and that's fixed point, we're not going to be able to move the pipe to get a T in. So that is how we're going to approach this. So to start with, I'm going to go up into the roof. Where's my bungs? Got my bungs here. People always ask about these. I think you can get them from Tool Station or Screwfix. I think they're called a rad draining kit, something like that, but they're just tank bungs to most people. So we'll pop on the roof, bung the fill, bung the vent, and that'll cause a vacuum within the system, and then we should be able to get to there. If the worst comes to the worst and it's not doing what we want it to do, I'll just drain the system out. But we'll try it with the bungs first, because hopefully it'll work and it'll save a lot of hassle. So let's jump up there and get them in. Right, that's the tanks bunged in the roof. It's basically just a case of putting one rubber bung in the vent and one rubber bung in the fill coming out the bottom of the tank. I'll pop a link up here to a video I've done previously on how to bung a tank, but that is essentially the way we're going to do it to start with, because hopefully it's going to work. So with that bunged now, what I will do is open up this side of the rad, or what was the rad, and hopefully just let the pressure out of the system. Hopefully it's going to start running. If it doesn't, I'm not going to mess around, I'm just going to drain the whole system out. But as we stand at the minute, we'll wait and see if that stops. So I'm going to change the plan slightly. I just wanted to show you what I was going to try first by bunging the tanks, but just in the back of my mind I don't think it's going to work, because we've got to expose that and we've got to cut it, and it's going to be open for a while. So as you can see, it's still passing ever so slightly. So what I'm going to do is do the normal, isolate the header tank and just drain the system down completely. At least then I know I'm not going to get halfway through soldering up on here and have an issue. Now someone's bound to say, well, why don't you press it? Because then you don't, you'd be able to press with the water just coming out like that. I don't do press, I never have done, and I still have yet to try it. And B, I also think press fittings, unless you're doing a big massive cupboard or boiler, they look all right, but something, you couldn't put press fittings on here, it'd look absolute shit. So I'm going to drain it down completely, because I'm just not happy with just the little dribble of water that we're getting through there. So upstairs, isolate the tank, get it drained down. So there we go, draining the system down, and well, it's nice to see a nice clear. In fact, we'll pop it over here. If you can get it with no kinks. So let's get draining the system down. It's nice to see a system that is crystal clear. So that's near enough, I think, drained down now. We've had it running on the hose for about 20-25 minutes. The system's drained down. The rads upstairs are open, so it's dropped the complete system out. So that's good. What we'll do now is just make up these two valves into the rad, and then we'll get the rad hung on the wall. I'm going to work off that point there, hang it, and then we'll know exactly what we've got to cut out and what we've got to alter down there, because this is going to be the pain in the arse bit. I have got the decorator coming back tomorrow, so if we do happen to make a bit of a mess and a bit of dirt and that round there, he's coming to sort that out anyway tomorrow, so that's not too bad a situation to be in. But yeah, let's get these valves made in. Now I'm going to use, as always, Loctite 55. Someone mentioned it in a video probably 18 months ago. I always used to use PTFE tape and paste. I've now converted to Loctite 55, works really well, not had an issue with it. And there's also the liquid one. Is it Loctite 57, the liquid one? I haven't been brave enough to try that one yet. It just goes against just putting a little bit of liquid on that thread and tightening it in, and it seals. I should really give it a go, but I haven't yet. When that runs out, we'll see. So we'll get these made up and pop them in the rad. That's the brackets now on the wall. I've worked out from the height of that to the height of, obviously the other side, to the fitting into the bottom of the rad. And then you allow from the bottom of there, an inch down to the bottom of the rad, and then work the bottom of your rad bracket heights of that, if that makes sense. I'm sure it will do. So we've got the brackets on, we're just finishing draining it down now, because what I'm going to have to do then is cut here to drain whatever we've got left out within this pipe, and then I'm going to cut off there and probably back here. Off of the rad-on first, just to see exactly where we've got to go with it, and then we can look at getting it reconnected up as long as we've got no water in the pipework. But I have bought the Aquavac out just so you can suck any water out that is just sitting in the bottom of the pipe. So yeah, we'll finish doing this bit, we'll cut that. So we just about drained down enough now. What I'm going to do is just cut the end of this pipe off there and get our little tub underneath it, and then see if we can drain out as much water as we can from this pipe work here. And then that will allow us then to get the rad on, make sure that end connects up all right, and then we can mark out exactly where we've got to cut the T in here and look at getting it repiped. So let's get this cut off. Right, we are now at a stage where I've cut this bit of pipe work out that was here. It's turned into a bit of a nightmare, this job, really, just because it took ages for the water to stop dripping out the pipes. So cut that out. What we're going to do is clean these up, and I've got to basically put a T-piece in here to go up to feed the rad, and then it come along and pick up that there that is back through. I was going to try and heat that up and turn it, but I just don't want to burn the wallpaper too much. So that's the best way I'm going to do it for that. So come down across, pick that up, and then we're ready to get the rad on and begin to get it soldered up. And hopefully, being a gravity fed system, hopefully it feels back up all right. But yeah, it's been a bit of a pain, to be honest. I think we had every colour of the rainbow on these pipes. It was white, then blue, then green. Luckily this one was just white. So we've got them cleaned up now. What I'm going to do is get the rad on this wall, and I'm going to work from underneath and then get it connected up and hopefully soldered up into position. So we've got it on, and then it's under here. It's going to be quite tight. I'm going to come off with an elbow, set this first, get that on, get the valve in, get the T into position, and then just do what we've got to do to get it into that side, because it's beginning to dim weight in a little bit, this job. That is the best way that I can do it without, oh, for fuck's sake, without causing too much hassle. I'm going to have to be quick now and get it soldered up before the water starts coming back on it. So let's see how we get on. This could become a pipe. But don't worry, because as I said, the decorator is coming tomorrow to touch up everywhere that's been affected by what I've been doing today. I just hope we're going to get it before Come on. Now that is going to be some of the worst soldering you've ever seen on the internet or YouTube, but I didn't have time to get it looking perfect, I'm afraid, because the water would have come back and caused a right load of hassle. I'm going to clean it up as best I can. I'm going to clean that up as best I can, but I hope you all understand how, why, and the reasons behind doing it like that. But you know, sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do. I'm going to have a good clean up of it. It's going to be painted anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, I just didn't want it backfilling. It's been a complete pain in the arse as well. So yeah, that's some of the worst soldering you'll see on YouTube. But it's real world plumbing. I'm not just putting out the best stuff, the nicest stuff. If you follow my channel, you know what I'm like. I will show you, you know, because we've all done it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what anyone says. We've all done a job where we've just had to do what we can do with it. Once that's painted up, it's not going to be a problem at all. And the table's going here, and listen to me trying to justify it. But yeah, it's real world plumbing. So that's the valves tightened up, that side done, that side done. I've been round, shut all the air vents off in the house, and I've just opened the tank up back in the roof. So we're beginning to fill this up. We'll leave the hose connected just in case. But yeah, hopefully it's going to fill up and we get it tested, get some heat on, yeah, and get some paint on that and quickly cover that up. So there's water going in. As long as the water's not coming back out, we're all okay. So yeah, we'll get this one vented, we'll go around, vent the rest of them. Some of them, like the one next door, is an old rad, you know, with the old sort of like hexagonal plug with the vent key in, so we have to be careful of them. So we'll go around now, vent everywhere out, vent upstairs, make sure it's all full. Yeah, I can hear the water going into this now. Make sure it's all full, get some inhibitor in the header tank, and then get the heating on and get it tested and balanced out. Right, there we go. Heating is on. I've just had a thermal imaging camera in front of this rad to make sure the heat's coming through it all right, and it is. All the other rads in the house are getting nice and warm. I've been round, checked them all well and good. Luckily, you know, with the gravity fed system, sometimes you think, shit, is it going to fill up all right? But luckily this one filled up a treat. Finally done. As I said, decorator's coming tomorrow to tidy up all of that. It's not too bad actually in the end, but yeah, you can feel the heat coming out the top, convecting around the room. Because what the customer and his missus were always finding, one of them works in here during the day at the table. She's upstairs at the minute, but she works here, and she was just finding this end of the room is getting quite cold. So before we just had the column rad on, just the heat coming off the front. They're pretty crap to be fair. This one, we're convecting the heat around the room. That's that little job done. Another mate's job ticked off. They always seem to be a pain in the arse, these jobs for mates, but it is what it is. All done and dusted.